Okay, thanks indeed for staying with us. The conversation is still on. We want to look at the abduction of school students that have become the target for kidnappers, for bandits. Several others kidnap gangs and rings. They target students, get so much media publicity and demand for heavy ransom. But that may not be working with the KBO on the way it is now. There is intensive onslaught against that here. We have with us a public affairs analyst, Samaila Musa. He is also the director, Program and Strategy Coalition of Northern Group. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Now, the question is the target for students. Have we lost empathy?
No, you see, basically, whenever there's a crime, you first and foremost look at the motive.
Okay.
You understand? You see, for them, the fact is that kidnapping is one of the, most lucrative industry now in Nigeria. I mean, it's also almost phasing out armed robbery, But of course, if you need them in their large numbers, because the larger, the more money you can make. So where can you get them in that large numbers? You understand? That is actually not in the center of the city. So you have to look out for where you have them in schools. And when you look at most of the schools where these things are being perpetrated, is that at the outskirts where it's going to be easier for them. I mean, you can't come into, for instance, Wuse now and enter the school and begin to rustle school children like cows and make an exit out of the city barefooted and nobody is stopping you. So really, that's one of the easiest target where they can get them in large numbers, if not on the road. Sometimes when you have them on the highways, stopping a number of cars and then, decide to. But in schools, especially boarding schools, is where you can get them in large numbers because they mostly happen at night, and that's where you go to their hostels to meet them. So really, that's just the.
But is it not something that are somewhat likely are despicable from the point of government now? Many are saying that most of our schools are indeed very porous. They have very wide landmass, and some of these schools, like what you raised, are not in. What you will be doing to secure the students while they go to seek education?
The first and foremost, Nigeria itself is porous. Our land borders are porous. Nobody seems to be safe. So coming to the schools is just a replication of what's happening in the society that is happening in schools. If maybe, I don't know if it's a shortage of the security personnel or for whatever reasons, you go to some of the schools, some of them don't even have fence. Some of them, the security man at the gate will almost be sleeping throughout the day. So really, there's nothing happening. The school gate is always open for anybody to come in and go out. Even the kids who are in the boarding school, whenever they want to go to town, without anybody's permission, they have access to do that. So everything is just the way it is in Nigeria, and it's quite unfortunate. Because when you have little kids, and when you look at the age range of those kids, is usually between age 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, max, in some cases maybe 16, because these days they always leave school in primary 4 or 5 and get into the high school. So these are small kids who really need real care. You understand? And they are left alone on their own. The dormitories are actually open and nothing.
Should we leave them like that?
It shouldn't be. But I'm just telling you.
Some are told that when civil defense was created, that school protection, government facilities, government properties should be what they should be focusing on. But it appears we have many of them guiding high-profile offices.
See, the major issue is that even if you decide to say, oh, let every school be guided by armed men, how many are you going to deploy there? Because I'm worried. I don't know, because worst case scenario, you see one person holding a gun.
If armed men can guide every house in Meta, almost 80% of houses in Meta, why can't armed men guide every school?
No, I'm just saying, because I don't even see that.
In some houses, you have 4 or 5.
I don't see that happening. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I'm telling you, in some houses, you have 4 or 5.
Yeah, I'm not disputing that.
The father may be a politician. The mother and the kids are all abroad.
I'm not disputing that. What I'm
So
saying
if it is possible to guide houses in Maitama, almost all of them also drive in so many. Why is it so difficult to guide school, even if it's just
because those ones that are being guided in Maitama, their children are not in those schools you're talking about. So that's why I don't see it happening. You understand? If we tell all these, political juggernauts and all of that, withdraw your children from all their schools, bring them back to Nigeria, let them go to those boarding schools, you will see not even just Mopol, you will see military officers also guiding all those schools. So I don't see that happening really. These are non-entities, children of non-entities who are in those schools. So because of that, they are left. No, that's their impression.
Of nobody. Let's use what
that's their impression, because you cannot leave your own children within the city. They cannot, once they are driving, even when they're driving, another escort vehicle is behind them. Then you have schools, boarding schools, where you have kids in their hundreds, and not even one single fence is around the school. Not even any single armed person is there to safeguard the life of those children. And this has happened time and time again, from Chibok to, what's the name of that school where Leah Sharibu, Dapchi, on and on like that. And now we are seeing the trend, that this is the trend, and yet nobody is doing anything about it.
The approach of the Kebbi State government, the police, this time around, the kidnappers will take the kids before, sit well, sleep phone calls. And why can't we track what's happening in the rest? In most countries, if you crime, the first thing you don't want to do when you use your phone, because the PRC, you can even spend telephone.
I've said it time and I can bet you that in this ransom, the persons themselves are probably given amount is being earmarked for. The people who are negotiating, the people who act on percentage, some also deep into this making money out of it.
Are you
yes.
Are you not shocked he cried out? The appointees.
Yeah. Yes, it's all over. Out of frustration. A lot of them are not talking. It's everybody's hand is
my hands are
their hands are deep in it. The worst case scenario, and the people who are demanding for are there telling them, instead, you will know this Arifra is 1 million naira. And when you listen to their art, people don't even know their left are actually sitting somewhere thing to do. This is the body will tell you how much to demand.
The Kebbi go into the bush, allow this man sit down.
Well, it's arguments, that it's unfortunate rule out some collateral like this. I feel very sorry for extend our condolence to, lost their own fire. We have said it time, whatever it takes, the government, these kids come back to the
I'll cut you here. I'll take 2 minutes. The dailies are saying just 2 minutes to Mr. Samar, first analyst, for his conversation. Just 2 minutes. Let's move the dailies quickly. And let's very, very swiftly and push through and see what the pages are. I've been told to go on that them, preparing them, and building, looking at the whole of. Don't you think intelligence? People on a motorcycle, 30% just.
See, let me example. When it did about 300 and something were Russell, we should meet with the Katana State government to the scene, and I was, how come the waters hit them? We had an interface. Some people say they saw it happening. Phone calls were made, hours, nothing, and that's why I say network. There must be some comparison. We've had instances. Is usually manned by different checkpoints. They know to collect 10 naira and all of like this happen. There is a few where they don't appear on. People know something. You have this not taken away and brought and work for somebody called someone. What happened to the phone call being intercepted 7 hours? This kid is no anybody making it. I don't get it. We keep calling here the budget for security. What is it meant for? In some instances, people say, the new cases, like we had cases in Zamfara State, where our cows were wrestled, nothing was done, and then arms because there's a need for survival. And you wonder and said, you were given security amount for so month where it happened. Security vote, the money to take care of security, to take profit. Buy house for the people who do investigation, you find out that it's true. Try to replace the number of cows that give them at least some, government, you understand? So living, I can call. What does it take? You must to also come and wait in it. You get it? Because it multiplier effect. Government didn't do anything.
Do you see this ending soon?
It's difficult. One thing is because you see table of Mr. President.
And the governors also.
Hold on. Is that pointed those people who are, you understand, access to the governor. I've seen, the governor of Kebbi, he has been proactive, encourages people we're talking about.
Niger is still crying out.
Crying out, but I've not read at the scene of crime. I've not addressing the victims. I don't. If his child is among, I give him some respect.
Mr. Smaila Musa is almost up. A public affairs analyst this morning. Wish you all the very, very. You have been on the show, Mr. Smaila Musa, and strategy of the quality. Okay, on that note, we end down in we sincerely apologize for this morning. We thank you very much for staying with us. Pleasant and a